Good evening. Let us come to order. We have a very large order, and we have a very short time to accomplish it. I am not here to entertain you, not even to inspire you. Inspiration without demonstration is a luxury the world cannot afford. We are here for results. We are here for law and its proof. So from the outset, I must ask you, no, require you to cooperate and to understand. If you wish demonstration, you must agree to the terms of the classroom, not to agree intellectually. I am not asking your assent or your theology. I am asking your cooperation with law. If you will cooperate, the law will meet you in proportion to your cooperation. If you will listen and follow, you will prove for yourself what no argument can settle. Now, in this room, we are not dealing with opinions. We are not comparing traditions, denominations, or temperaments. We are dealing with an impersonal principle that is as exact as mathematics. Clears throat. This is the infinite way of it. Law does not bend, does not flatter, does not negotiate. It does not punish or reward personalities. It fulfills itself where it is understood and where it is obeyed. You can argue with gravity and you can recite poetry at it, and you will still fall if you step off the roof. You can dislike the multiplication table, and 2 times 2 will remain 4 while you frown. It is a mathematical formula. You cannot get away from it. In the same manner, spiritual law is, and we are here to place ourselves under it, consciously, intelligently, reverently. You will find me direct, perhaps uncomfortably so. That is part of the contract. You will have to cooperate and really understand everything that is said. Do not bring your problems to the front of the room, demanding that they be treated by personal will. Do not bring your conditions to be argued with. If you insist on a debate, you will get a debate and no healing. The law is not moved by our fears nor by our fervor. It is realized, and then it acts as itself. So the first term of our agreement is this: silence your personal opinions long enough to let the principle reveal itself. Just long enough. If by habit the mind jumps with yes, but, set the but at the door and take your seat again. You will discover that the yes, but has no power in truth. The polarizing premise I lay before you is simple, and it will not be softened. Stillness is not decoration in the spiritual life. It is not an ornament for holidays or retreats. Stillness is the measure of consciousness, and consciousness is the measure of demonstration. Never believe for a moment that you can bring forth any greater demonstration than your realized state of stillness consciousness. The degree of the works that you do is directly proportionate to the degree of the inner quiet in which you know God to be the only power. This too is a mathematical formula. Your effort, your nervous intensity, your long prayers, your energetic affirmations, none of these increase demonstration. Demonstration is not earned by strain. It is the inevitable proportion of realized consciousness. When the mind is still, truly still, consciousness reveals itself as presence, and in the presence of God, error just doesn't have a chance to survive. Not because we fought it, but because it was a belief. And belief cannot survive realized truth. So if you came to learn a technique for changing outer conditions, let me relieve you at the doorway. There is no technique. There is cooperation with law. And the law states, stop arguing with conditions. Stop granting power to pictures, to sounds, to sensations. Do not tell me of the size of your mountain. Do not tell me how long it has been there. Do not tell me the names the world has given it. The question in this work is always the same. To what are we giving power? If we give power to that which appears, we will have to live by it. If we rest in stillness, receiving and revealing the one power, we will watch the appearance dissolve of its own nothingness. That is the rule here, and we are going to test it. Please note the word test. We are not here to debate, to split hairs, to collect quotations. We are here to experiment, inner experiment. Prove me now herewith. Take it as a laboratory. In a laboratory, you do not argue with the thermometer. You observe what happens when you apply heat at a precise degree. You note the result. You repeat. You understand the law by watching it fulfill itself. In the next hour and in the days that follow, we will do precisely that with stillness. We will declare truth and we will be silent. We will not try to persuade God. We will not try to outshout fear. We will listen. And in that listening, if you will cooperate, you will witness the release, the all is well, the subtle shift by which conditions lose their reality in you and then outside of you. Now, you may sit there and say, I do not yet agree. I say to you, you are not being asked to agree, only to cooperate with a law and test it. Bring your questions, yes, but first bring your obedience to the simple instruction. Be still. For a minute and a half, 2 minutes if you can. That 1 minute faithfully observed will teach you more than argument across a lifetime. In that minute, your part is not to fix, not to force, not to improve. Your part is to become non-resistant, to cease contending with the appearance, and to let the one power bear witness to itself. If you can do that once, you can do it again. And each time your realized consciousness grows, and your demonstration rises in exact proportion. Let us understand the seriousness and the mercy of this. Serious because the law will not be mocked. Mercy because it is simple. You do not need a brilliant mind for this. You need a willing heart, a willingness to stop struggling for a few minutes, and to rest in the truth that the kingdom of God is within you. I will instruct. You will listen and do. The law will prove itself. That is our contract. If we keep it, the works will follow. Not because we have become more spiritual personalities, but because the stillness has opened the door and consciousness has stepped through as demonstration. Be very sure of this before we proceed. If you are ready to cooperate, the rest will be grace. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength and your proof. Now, hear this without compromise. Never believe for a moment that you can bring forth any greater demonstration than your realized state of consciousness. That is not opinion, not theology, not my tradition against yours. This is a mathematical formula. As surely as 2 and 2 make 4, the works that appear in your experience are directly proportionate to the degree of consciousness you have realized. You cannot escape it. God is no respecter of persons. There are no favorites, no lucky ones upon whom heaven smiles while neglecting the rest. There is only law, impersonal, exact, inexorable, and it functions as consciousness appearing. Let us be very clear about the word we are using. By consciousness, I do not mean thought-keeping or a pile of affirmations. I do not mean a feverish watching of your mental ledger to see if you have more positive than negative. That is not consciousness, that is human bookkeeping. Consciousness, in the sense we are using it, is the realized awareness of God's presence and government, a felt, known, inward recognition. The Father within me, He doeth the works. Not an idea about God, not a guess, not a hope, but the actual knowing that the one presence is on the field. The one power governs, and therefore the appearance cannot stand as cause, cannot dictate, cannot frighten. That knowing, that degree of realized presence, is the exact measure of the demonstration that will show forth, whether in the body, in the home, in the business, in the nation. And so set aside at once the notion that effort earns results. Demonstration is not the wage of strain. It is not a trophy for the loudest prayer or the longest vigil. Demonstration is the inevitable proportion of realized consciousness. The cause is within, the effect is without. When the needle of your inner awareness lifts, the scale of your outer life will register it, faithfully, precisely. When it does not lift, you may argue, you may protest, you may recite beautiful formulas until midnight and dawn, and the law will not be moved by your emotion. Which of you by taking thought can add 1 cubit to his stature? Take no thought. Do you see? Arguing belongs to the same plane as the fear you are trying to silence. It is motion inside the same level of belief. Motion on a treadmill does not change the horizon. It exhausts you and leaves you where you started. The law is not persuaded by argument. The law is fulfilled by realization. Someone says, "But I have declared the truth. I have said, God is all 1,000 times. And I say to you, the truth is not words. Ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." No, not say, not chant. No, the knowledge we are speaking of is consciousness. When you know fire is hot, you do not need to debate whether to pull your hand away. The knowledge itself moves you, so it is here. When you know, really know, that God alone is power, you do not fear a second power. You do not bargain with it. You do not curse it or plead with it. The knowing dissolves the belief. In that measure will your demonstration stand. Let us bring this down where even the child in us can grasp it. If you tune your radio to a certain wavelength, you cannot, by argument, produce another station. You cannot shout the orchestra from station B into a receiver set to station A. You must change the tuning. If you have $2 in your pocket, you may wish, you may insist you have 10. You may even borrow at high interest to make a show of 10. But you will pay it back in pain because the truth was 2. The outer follows the inner. The dial determines the music. The measure of realized presence determines the works. This is mercy, not harshness, because it means no one on earth can bar you from demonstration. The gate is within you. As you enter, so it appears. Now, about greater works. Do not let your human pride sneak in through a spiritual door. Greater works shall ye do, but not you as person, not you, John or Mary, swelling with self-importance. Greater works appear as the mind that was also in Christ Jesus is in you. Another way of saying, as your realized consciousness rises. When you transcend one level of belief and attain a higher realization of the invisible, you do not perform tricks. You bear witness to the one presence more perfectly. Exactly in that degree will harmony appear. It is proportion, it is law, it is grace measured by your acceptance. You may be tempted to answer the appearances. A pain speaks. You answer it with counter words. A bill shouts. You shout back with a dozen promises. Listen carefully. You cannot talk error into truth because error has no ear. You cannot argue darkness out of a room because darkness is not a presence. You turn on the light and darkness yields. What turned the key? Not force, not debate, light realized. In spiritual practice, the light is the conscious awareness of God's presence here and now. The instant that light is realized, the argument ceases, because there is nothing left to argue with. The thermometer does not wrangle with winter, it registers. Your experience registers the level of your realized consciousness. But isn't this hard? It is exact, not hard. The yoke becomes easy when you stop quarreling with the principle and begin cooperating with it. The carpenter does not argue gravity out of a falling beam. He learns how to work with the law, and the law serves him perfectly. So here you stop pleading for an exception, and you accept the formula. 2 and 2 are 4. Consciousness realized appears as demonstration. God is no respecter of persons, not by might nor by power, but by my spirit. Do you feel the relief in that? The burden of effect-making drops from your shoulders. Your task is singular. Realize, know, be still, and know. All the sweat of personal effort cannot do what a moment of realization does without strain. So, when next you measure your results, Do not condemn yourself and do not flatter yourself. Simply take the reading. If it is small, it is small. If it is large, it is large. In either case, go back to the source, not the symptom. Increase not your words, but your awareness. Deepen not your argument, but your inner quiet. For I can of mine own self do nothing. The Father within me, he doeth the works. That sentence is the whole formula. Memorize it if you must, but more, live into it. As you do, the proportion will prove itself because the law cannot fail. We will go on to show you how stillness becomes the doorway to realization. But for this moment, keep this as the foundation under every step. Demonstration is not earned by effort. It is the inevitable proportion of realized consciousness. Accept that, and you have accepted the government of spirit. Refuse it, and all that remains is debate inside a closed room. Choose the open window. Let your inward measure lift, and the outward forms, physical, mental, moral, financial, will rise to it with the same certainty by which dawn follows the night. Now let us move to the doorway itself. If demonstration appears only in proportion to realized consciousness, then the question is, how do we realize? Not talk about, not promise for tomorrow, realize. And here you come right up against the gate, so narrow you cannot carry your bundle of anxieties through it. Stillness is that gate. Where there is stillness, there is receptivity. Where there is agitation, there is personal sense. And you cannot demonstrate beyond your inner quiet, because the presence that does the works is not apprehended by a mind shouting, proving, defending, fearing. Be still and know that I am God. Not be clever, not be intense. Be still and know. Understand me. This is not optional. This is not a nice seasoning for your spiritual diet. This is the law of realization. The mind that is busy manufacturing arguments is on the human level, and the human level is the level of effect. Effects do not produce causes. You cannot, by turning the hands of a clock, hasten the sun. You cannot, by stirring the water, make the moon appear in it. The water reflects when it is still. Conscious realization reflects when the mind is quiet. Take no thought for your life. That is not passivity, it is instruction. It is the turning from the motion of thought to the quiet in which the word utters itself. Now, let us say what stillness is not, because here most of the mischief comes in. Stillness is not blankness. It is not sleep. It is not drifting into a fog of pleasant feeling. It is not passivity that hands your responsibilities to fate. Stillness is the cessation of taking counsel of the senses and of the world mind. It is the deliberate refusal to let what the eyes see, what the ears hear, what the papers print, sit in your heart as law. It is the inner poise in which you do not rush to answer a pain with a louder thought. Do not rush to meet a threat with a counter-threat. You are not a prosecuting attorney, and you are not a defense attorney. You are a witness. In stillness, you stop pleading the case for or against error, because you have recognized that pleading is conducted on the wrong jurisdiction. The Lord is in his holy temple. Let all the earth keep silence before him. That is the jurisdiction. You will find, if you watch honestly, that the human mind wants results while keeping control. It wants harmony, but on its terms. It will say, yes, yes, peace, after we have rearranged the furniture of the world. No, never. The law does not bow to that. Stillness is surrender of control without the surrender of intelligence. It is yielding the throne, not the capacity to discern. In true stillness, you are keenly alert, more awake than in your arguing, because you are attentive to what is, not to what fear imagines. Speak, Lord, thy servant heareth. Heareth what? The still small voice, not the tumult. If you keep your hand on the lever, you cannot hear. If you insist on steering while asking direction, you will mistake your own steering for guidance. You must release the lever. You must stop steering for a moment. That is stillness. It is humility in action. Consider this in terms of altitude. Demonstration is not something you push up from below, like lifting a heavy load with strained muscles. You rise in consciousness and the view changes. From the valley, you see mountains as walls. From the ridge, you see them as contours. From the summit, you see the path as a whole. A pilot does not push the fog away by arm wrestling with it. He climbs above it. There is a level where the weather is, and there is a level where the sky is. The weather shouts. The sky is silent. In the measure that you ascend to the silence, the shouting is beneath you. You have not conquered it. You have outlived it. And then what appears in your experience corresponds to your altitude, to the inner quiet from which you look. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. Mount up. Altitude is consciousness. Wings are stillness. How do you know when you are in that stillness and not some counterfeit? There will be a certain loosening of the grasping. The compulsion to fix will ebb. The sense of I must do, I must make, I must prove will be replaced by I can of mine own self do nothing. The Father within me, He doeth the works. Your breath will find its natural rhythm. Your mind will not be vacant, but it will be open, receptive. Sometimes there is a sense of inner lightness, a quiet joy, a simple sentence rising within. All is well, God is on the field, or no words at all, only release. Do not chase the signs. The signs are not the stillness. The stillness is your consent to the presence to be itself in you, and you will recognize it by the fruit. The argument stops. The fear weakens, the heart softens. Then, in due time, the outer adjusts itself to the altitude you have attained. Law. As long as agitation persists, you are trying to produce an effect on the effect. You are like a man on a treadmill, running furiously and scolding the horizon for not moving. Which of you by taking thought can add 1 cubit unto his stature? None. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Confidence in what? In the one power present where you are, not in the cleverness of your strategizing. If you go into prayer with your fists clenched, mentally clenched, you will come out with sore hands and no answer. If you go in with open hands, not asking God to change what is out there, but yielding the inner storm, the word of God may reach you. Only God can utter it. Only God utters His voice. The earth melts. That is not poetry. That is how error belief dissolves. Now please do not imagine that because stillness is simple, it is easy for the human mind. The mind will protest. It will say, this is doing nothing. Yes, to the human mind it is. But we are not after human results. We are after spiritual demonstration, which is the reflection, the registering of realized presence. Stillness is the only door to that realization. You cannot bluster your way in. You cannot bribe your way in. You cannot reason your way in. You can only be still. 1 minute of true stillness will do more than an hour of theological arm wrestling. This is not advice. This is law. This is the mathematical formula in practice. As the stillness deepens, the realization appears. As the realization appears, the demonstration registers. So when the appearance rises, physical, mental, moral, financial, do not argue. Do not deny vehemently. Do not affirm hysterically. Turn within to the inner altitude. Refuse the counsel of the senses and of the world mind. Yield the control that never worked. Become still, not blank, not sleepy, not passive, alertly still. Be still and know. And as you know, you will find that nothing has been added to you. Rather, something false has been subtracted. The belief in a second power, the mesmerism of appearances, the hypnosis of fear. In the silence, the one power reveals itself. In that revelation, error belief has no air to breathe. And then, as naturally as a clear lake, reflects the moon, your experience will register your realized consciousness, not by might nor by power, but by my spirit. Be still and know. Now we must put the finger on the sore spot. If you have wondered, honestly, humbly, why discord persists in your experience even while you pray, even while you study, mark this well. As long as you accept two powers, you will experience two powers. This is not philosophy, this is law. This is the universal human mind at work, the mind into which we were all born, the mind that educates us from the cradle to give power to what we see, hear, taste, touch, and smell. That belief, two powers, good and evil, is the disease behind every disease, the sin behind every sin, the poverty behind every poverty. Do not look for a demon in the corner. It is subtler than that. It is a premise, sometimes God, sometimes something else, sometimes spirit, sometimes matter, sometimes love, sometimes hate. That premise is a lie, and while you entertain it, you cannot escape living under it. Now, let us question it very simply. To what are you giving power? Answer that, and you will know what governs you. Do you give power to germs? Then do not be surprised if germs seem to govern. Do you give power to weather, drafts, dampness, heat, cold? Then do not be surprised if the barometer becomes your lord. Do you give power to food, vitamins, deficiencies, excesses? Then do not be surprised if your table dictates your peace. Do you give power to bodies, young bodies, old bodies, male bodies, female bodies? Then do not be surprised if your horizon rises and falls with their conditions. Do you give power to money, surplus, or lack, to the stock market, to the opinions of bankers? Then do not be surprised if figures on a page decide your courage. Do you give power to people, parents, children, partners, bosses, enemies? Then do not be surprised if their moods become your weather. Do you give power to headlines, to polls, to governments, to geography? Then do not be surprised if your world shrinks to their borders. To what do we give power? That is the question. And why be shocked when the thing you have crowned begins to rule? Listen now to the correction that will save you years of wandering. Nothing that you can see, hear, taste, touch, or smell is power. Nothing, no object, no condition, no person, no circumstance is power. All power is invisible. All power is spiritual. God alone is power. Let that sentence hammer, hammer, hammer in your consciousness until the edges of it cut through the fog. God alone is power. The visible is effect. The invisible is cause. The form is vessel. The life is the unseen wine. The switch is not electricity. The pipe is not water. The leaf is not wind. When you mistake vessel for wine, pipe for water, leaf for wind, you begin praying to surfaces and you begin fearing surfaces, and surfaces, having no power in themselves, must borrow it from your belief. Do not take from this a license to be hard with human suffering. On the contrary, to refuse two powers is the only true compassion. We are not saying to the brother in pain, your hurt is nothing. We are saying, your hurt is not a law, it is not an authority, it is not a power. We bring soup and we bring blankets, and we also bring the presents. We bandage and we comfort, and we also refuse to crown the wound as ruler. It is an act of mercy not to bow to the tyrant of appearance. Be of good cheer, it is I. Be not afraid. That is not sentiment. That is the refusal to grant authority to the storm while the master is in the boat. If the storm had power, there would have been no stilling of it. If paralysis had power, there would have been no rise, take up thy bed. If crucifixion had power, there would have been no resurrection. Thou couldst have no power at all against me, except it were given thee from above. There you have the law in its clearest language. The ethical pivot is this: you will honor the pain without enthroning it. You will care for the person without believing the condition has authority to dictate the outcome. You will take whatever intelligent human step is at hand. Call the mechanic, fix the roof, pay the bill, feed the child, but you will not in your heart say to the leak, to the ledger, to the fever, "Thou art my Lord." You will not say to the calendar, "You are older, therefore you are weaker." You will not say to the weather, "You are colder, therefore you are sicker." You will not say to the economy, "You are down, therefore you are ruined." You will not, because you have seen through the trick. The crown is placed by consent. Withdraw the consent and the tyrant is naked. How do you know when you have slipped back into the two powers trap? Agitation tells you. Agitation is the emotional signature of two-power thinking. The heart races because it believes there is another power on the field, another mind that can outshout God, another cause that can defeat grace. And the instant you feel that agitation, do not argue with it. Do not answer it with louder noise. Return at once to the only door we have already opened together. Stillness. Be still. This is where one power is realized. There in that holy hush, not blankness but alert listening, you say within yourself, "I can of mine own self do nothing. The Father within me, he doeth the works. Speak, Lord, thy servant heareth." 1 minute, 1 1/4, 1 1/2 if you can bear it. Long enough for the inner yes to appear, long enough for that subtle release that says without words, "All is well." God is on the field. In that moment you have withdrawn the crown from the second power. You have ceased to feed the shadow with your fear. And then you will watch, perhaps slowly, perhaps swiftly, as the appearance adjusts to the altitude of one power realized. Do not imagine that you can keep the two powers alive all day, and then for 5 seconds at night, invoke one power like a fire extinguisher. The law is impartial. As long as you accept two powers, you will experience two powers. As quickly as you abide in one power, you begin to live under one power. This is why your stillness is not a luxury. It is your act of jurisdiction, your quiet court where the case is decided before it goes to trial in the senses. In that quiet court, the verdict is always the same. The Lord is God. Beside me there is none else. Not by might, nor by power, but by my Spirit, saith the Lord. Not by argument, not by pleading, not by human force, but by the realized presence that dissolves the very belief in a second power. Bring this down to the next envelope that comes in the mail, the next headline that tries to seize your gut, the next ache that knocks at the door. Do the wise human thing. Open, read, tend, bandage, call, but do not under any circumstance let the ink on the page, the numbers on the bill, the sensation in the flesh stand in your heart as cause. Cause is invisible. Power is invisible. God alone is power. If you will not grant the seal of authority to what the five senses report, but instead turn within long enough to feel the hush that says, "I am," then you will have proven the law to yourself. The thing that terrified you will lose its crown. It may still ask for attention, but it will not dictate terms, and little by little, or suddenly, you will find the earth melting before the utterance you did not utter, the word God uttered as you listened. This correction will feel at first like swimming against a tide, because the world mind is constantly preaching two powers, but do not be discouraged. Every time you refuse to enthrone appearance, every time you return to stillness instead of agitation, you are educating your consciousness into truth. And truth is mercifully consistent. It does not fail some days and succeed others. It registers as faithfully as the compass points north. As your acceptance of one power becomes steady, your life will simplify. Fear will have fewer hooks. Quietness and confidence will become your natural climate. And when someone asks you, "How did the trouble go?" you will answer truthfully, "It did not go. It dissolved. It had no power." Be still and know God alone is power. Now let us take this right down to the doormat where you live, because unless this comes out of the clouds into the kitchen and the office, it remains a pretty thought and not a usable law. The world mind teaches you that matter contains law, that conditions carry intelligence. A draft causes a chest cold. Wet feet cause rheumatism. A certain food causes distress. A prognosis sets the timetable. Now, to free yourself, you must question this as a child would, without reverence for superstition. Does the chest know that it is in a draft? Think carefully. Does the skin have a little mind that measures the velocity of air and issues a decree? Inflame now. No, it does not. The body has no knowing faculty. The body is an instrument. What does know it? I know it. You know it. The mind accepts the draft as a danger, and acceptance operates as law until it is challenged and dissolved by a higher realization. Consider wet feet. People go wading in mountain streams. Fishermen stand hip-deep in cold water. Children splash in rain puddles with shoes soaked through. Some return perfectly well, others return with a cold. Where then is the law? In water. If water had a law of sickness in it, it would be universally, uniformly expressed, but it is not. The variance tells you the truth. No causative law inheres in the water. The seeming cause is in the belief accepted about the water. Two people, one idea. One sets the crown upon the condition. This is dangerous. This will do me harm. And the body obligingly registers the fear. The other does not, and the body registers the neutrality. You see the hinge? Not water, not feet, acceptance. What of food? The stomach does not read labels. The tongue tastes, yes. The digestive organs perform their function, yes. But who announces, "This is harmful to me," before the first morsel clears the esophagus? Who dines on a rumor, not a meal? I do, if I live in belief. A label shouted from a page 1,000 miles away can have some of you suffering in advance of a single bite, while another soul of a different training eats heartily and thrives. All over the world there are robust people living long lives on diets that contradict each other. If matter carried law, one universal menu would be compulsory, but we find instead the law changing with geography, with the calendar, with fashion. That which changes with fashion is not law, it is belief. Again the pivot, the stomach doesn't know. I know it. Acceptance draws a circle, and the body writes within that circle until a greater truth erases the chalk. Take the diagnosis. Does a bone know a prognosis? Does a cell mark on its calendar 6 weeks until yada? Does a nerve read an X-ray and say, "That picture decides my future"? No. The picture has no mind. The bone has no mind. The cell has no mind to decree destiny. What then trembles or steadies when the report is read? The mind. What tightens or releases the breath? The mind. What spends the day under a cloud or in a quiet trust? The mind. And in that measure, the body, being instrument, registers. You have seen two patients hearing the same sentence. One sinks, one rises. Where did the fork in the road open? Not in the tissue, in acceptance. Do not misunderstand. We are not engaging in make-believe. We are locating causation where it actually functions on the human level, in accepted belief. And you can prove it in little ways that do not touch medicine at all. A child with a magic bandage falls asleep because the terror was not in the scratch, but in the fear, and the fear yielded to confidence. A performer steps onto the stage with his lucky coin and the knees stop shaking, not because the coin radiates courage, but because belief released strength that was already there. People take a harmless sip of something soothing and calm down because they accepted soothing. You have, in your own experience, watched a sentence spoken by one in authority lift or drop the entire room. Words are not matter, yet bodies respond. How? Acceptance. The seeming power rides into the body on the saddle of belief. That is the point. Now, here comes the turn that will save you years. If human acceptance can impose discord, fear, tightness, or relief upon the body, if belief can play tyrant or nurse, how much more will realized spiritual consciousness, not belief but realization, appear as harmony? If at the lowest rung the mind can produce effects by its acceptance, then at the higher rung the consciousness that knows God's presence can dissolve the whole false basis and let grace be the only climate. Do you see the mercy in this? It means you do not have to wrestle with matter. You do not have to sandblast conditions. You have to withdraw a false crown and receive the true King. Ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Not mental juggling, knowing, realization. Let me press the aha so that it stamps itself upon you. The body does not know the draft. I know it. The stomach does not know the label. I know it. The bone does not know the prognosis. I know it. Aha. And the instant you see that, you also see the next necessity. Change the knower. Transcend the level of the human mind that accepts universal beliefs, and enter the consciousness that does not accept two powers at all. Let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus. Which mind? The mind that did not consult the weather before stilling the storm. The mind that did not consult the calendar before saying, "Rise." The mind that did not consult Caesar before rendering unto God what was God's. This is not poetry. This is the altitude where causation is no longer borrowed from fear, but is received from spirit. So, when the next appearance knocks, physical, mental, moral, financial, do not run to fix the body as if it were a criminal caught in the act. Ask the question that unmasks the mesmerism. Who knows this as law? Does flesh know it? No, I am the one giving consent. Then withdraw consent, quietly, simply, not in defiance, but in realization. Say within yourself, there is no causative power in what eyes see or ears hear. All power is invisible. God alone is power. And be still long enough, 1 minute, 1 1/4, 1 1/2, to feel the loosening of the premise, the subtle shift from argument to awareness. That is the moment in which the false law loses jurisdiction and the true law is felt. In that awareness, the body as instrument takes its cue from the higher music. Remember, belief is a borrowed scepter. It struts and threatens until the royal presence steps into the room. Then what happens to the boast? It dissolves. It was never substance, it was only sound. The seeming power is not in the condition, it is in the accepted belief. And belief, being no law, yields to realized truth as snow yields to the noon sun. So we are not battling matter, we are ceasing to enthrone it. We are not pasting affirmations over fear, we are resting in the one who needs no help. I can of mine own self do nothing. The Father within me, he doeth the works. Let that be the seal on this aha. From this hour, refuse to let body, climate, paper, picture, or rumor pose as mind. Let the one mind be the knower in you. Then you will watch, not with surprise but with gratitude, as the instruments take their true notes, and demonstration follows the score of realization, not the scribbles of fear. Be still and know. Now that you have seen where causation really sits, acceptance, belief, the mind that consents, let us settle the matter of method, so simple that the human mind is offended by it because it cannot dress it up. 1 treatment. 1. Whether it comes labeled physical, sickness, pain, fatigue, disability, mental, confusion, anxiety, compulsion, moral, sin, false appetite, resentment, guilt, financial, lack, debt, fear of tomorrow, social, loneliness, betrayal, hostility, imprisonment in a cell, or imprisonment in a habit, whether it speaks through a body, a balance sheet, a courtroom, a hospital chart, a relationship, a climate, a geography, it is all the same case to us. Do not multiply gods by multiplying categories, one treatment because one power. What is the refusal at the heart of this? We do not apply a power to a condition, mark that well. We do not take God as a tool and rub him upon an ache. We do not take spirit as a lever to pry open a door. We do not beg, bargain, pressure, or persuade the infinite to do what the infinite must already be, if it is infinite. We do not battle error as if it were a power. We are not waging war with shadows. We are not techniques people. We are not suggestionists. We have no formulas, no incantations, no magic words that compel God. There is nothing to compel. I can of mine own self do nothing. The Father within me, he doeth the works. If that sentence is not the marrow of your practice, you are still in the arena, wrestling phantoms. Now then, what happens when the one treatment is given? Healing occurs as dissolution, not as conquest. In the realized presence of God, error does not survive, not because it is beaten back by a stronger force, but because it is recognized in its nature as no thing, no law, no cause. Darkness is not pushed out of a room with a broom. You do not fight it, you turn on the light, and darkness, being absence, not presence, has nowhere to stand. Only God utters his voice. The earth melts. What melts? The appearances generated by belief in two powers, by consent to what the senses preach as law. When the word is uttered by God, not by your human mouth in effort, what argued for reality as a condition melts, dissolves of its own nothingness. This is not poetry. This is how the works are done, not by might nor by power, but by my Spirit, saith the Lord. But you will say to me, how do you do this? And I must answer you with what will sound like an evasion, and is in truth the point. I do not know how to heal. I do not know how to prosper. I do not know how to reform a sinner, or secure employment, or open prison doors. I don't. My function is only this: to attain, consciously, the realization of God's presence where I am. Then it does the work. I am not the healer. I am not the provider. I am not the liberator. The realized presence is the healer, the provider, the liberator. If I attempt to add my little personal might to that, I immediately drop into two powers, and I am back in the dust, arguing with effects. When I am faithful to my function, realization, then whatever is unlike God's nature has no continuing identity in that light. It goes out as a candle goes out in the sun. There is no fight. There is recognition, and recognition is the end of the masquerade. You see now why there is one treatment for every claim? Because there is one presence answering every seeming form of absence. Absence of health is answered by presence. Absence of peace is answered by presence. Absence of supply, of companionship, of justice, of freedom. Each is answered not by pushing in a corresponding human commodity, but by realizing the presence that is the substance, the law, the life of all that appears as form. If you try to answer lack with money only, you have not touched the cause. If you try to answer sickness with matter only, you have not touched the cause. If you try to answer loneliness with company only, you have not touched the cause. These may be the natural shadows that follow when the sun is shining, and be grateful for them, but they are not the cause. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. First, cause before effect, presence before appearance. That is the order of our practice. How is this realization attained? Not by manufacturing it, not by straining for it, not by outlining how it must look when it arrives. Realization dawns. It dawns when the personal mind ceases to outline results, ceases to argue with appearances, ceases to prescribe to God, and becomes still enough to receive the word. Always we are coming back to the same gate, because there is only one. Be still and know that I am God. Take no thought. Speak, Lord, thy servant heareth. You cannot hear in a storm of your own making. You cannot receive while you are dictating terms. You must let go the lever, remove your hand from the tiller, stop steering the ocean and come to that inner poise where receptivity is possible. In that listening, a sentence may rise, or only a release, or a quiet joy that has no words. Do not try to catch it. Consent. Consent to the presence to be itself as your consciousness in this moment. That consent is your treatment. Let us translate this into the places you will need it. A man calls you from a hospital bed. Pain. One treatment. You do not go to war with pain. You refuse to grant it authority. You turn within. You remember. God alone is power. All power is invisible. Nothing seen, heard, tasted, touched, or smelled is power. And then you are still. You do not try to pour might into a muscle. You do not picture tissue changing. You wait upon the Lord. When the word utters, the atmosphere shifts, and often the report will be, something let go. I feel lighter. I fell asleep. Dissolution. A woman sits before you weeping over a betrayal. Loneliness, fear, one treatment. You do not match her tears with arguments. You bring comfort and also refuse to enthrone the absence. You turn within, realize presence are still, and in that realized presence, the tyrant called abandonment has no breath. The outer situation may take its path, but the mesmerism is broken and life comes through in new forms consistent with the presence realized. A merchant faces a ledger red with loss. Lack. One treatment. You do what intelligence at hand requires, economy, prudence, clarity, and you do not grant figures authority over your being. You retire to the inner room, realize presence, wait without outlining where the supply must come from, and watch as forms rearrange to match the new altitude. If you watch the works that follow this mode, you will find a curious humility stamped upon them. Nobody did anything brilliant. Nobody won a contest with evil. Something false ceased to be believed, and the natural spy stopped being obstructed. That is why there is such rest in this way. You are relieved of the tyranny of being the doer. Your attention is called again and again to the only point of power you really have, your consent to presence. Let that be firm. Hammer it in. God alone is power, God alone is presence, God alone is cause. Hammering, hammering, hammering until the mind's addiction to technique and effort grows quiet. Then sit in the quiet. Let the dawn come as it will. And as it comes, notice how inevitably, mathematically, appearances align with that which is realized. Demonstration is not the fruit of pressure. Demonstration is the shadow of realization. Not by might, not by personal power, not by clever technique, but by my spirit. Be still and consent. Now we come to what some of you have been waiting for, and what others have been resisting, because it is too simple to flatter the human mind. The prayer that proves the formula. 2 steps. Not complicated, not glamorous. 2 steps. First, a clear declaration of truth that establishes the premise. 1 power. Then, when the ground is cleared, prayer, not asking, not persuading, but listening in complete silence until the word is heard. If you will consent to this and do it as given, you will begin to see why we call this a mathematical law. The works must and will follow the realization. Step 1. The declaration. Why do we make a declaration? Not to inform God. God needs no information, no persuasion, no help. The declaration is to educate, to steady, to anchor the human mind that has been taught 2 powers since the cradle. It is the broom that clears the threshold so that we may hear. Keep it clean, keep it direct. For example, God alone is power. All power is invisible. Nothing seen, heard, tasted, touched, or smelled has any power to govern or control life. I can of mine own self do nothing. The Father within me, he doeth the works. The kingdom of God is within me. Where I am, God is. Therefore, there is no other presence, no other law, no other cause operating here and now. You may add a sentence that refuses the particular mask the world is wearing at this moment. Disease has no law. Debt has no law. Fear has no law. There are not two powers. But keep your declaration faithful to the one premise. God alone is power. Now, mark the pivot, because this is where most of the world misses prayer entirely. After the declaration, you are ready for prayer. Prayer is not thought. Prayer is not asking. Prayer is not reciting your needs to an absent deity. Take no thought. Prayer is listening. Prayer is that inner hush in which the still small voice may utter itself. Speak, Lord, thy servant heareth. Do not reverse the order. Do not continue declaring until you are hoarse, as if the declaration would move God. The declaration clears the room. Then you are silent. Completely. You sit quietly, comfortably. If you like, close your eyes. If you like, open them. That is not the point. The point is, stop speaking within yourself. Stop designing outcomes. Stop rehearsing fears. Stop trying to make something happen. Be still and listen. How long? Here is where I will save you from the tyranny of ambition. 1 minute, 1 minute and a quarter, 1.5 if you can bear it, 2 minutes if grace holds you. Do not try for marathons. That first minute, honestly still, is a universe compared to 15 minutes of mental argument. That 1 minute is enough for your beginning. You can return again and again through the day, but in that minute, you must be as still as you can be. Listening. Not waiting for a voice with ears, but resting in an alert receptivity. You will know contact not by fireworks, but by the simplest signs. What are the signs? Sometimes a deep breath that you did not command. Sometimes a soft sigh, as if the air has been changed in the room. Sometimes a warmth behind the breastbone. Sometimes a lightening in the head or the face. Sometimes nothing in the body at all. Only a quiet assurance, a sense without words that says, all is well. Sometimes a phrase rises unbidden, God is on the field, or be not afraid, or I am with you. And you know the difference between that and your own attempting. Do not go hunting for experiences. Do not measure. The sign may be no more than the quarrel in the mind stopping as if a judge had rapped the gavel. It is not emotion. It is not ecstasy. It is assurance. It is the presence felt not as a sensation you produce, but as a certainty that announces itself. When it comes, you will not say, I made it happen. You will say, it came. That is enough. Get up, go about your business. The prayer has been prayed. If the mind resumes arguing, because it will at first, if it begins its chorus again, yes, but, what about? Do not condemn yourself. Do not call yourself unspiritual. Do not lash the mind like a disobedient dog. Simply begin again. Return to the first step if you must. Declare truth simply once more. God alone is power. I can of my own self do nothing. The Father within me, he doeth the works. And then come back into the quiet. 1 minute, 1.25, 1.5. This is not wrestling. This is not beating the mind into submission. This is withdrawing your consent from its noise and resting in the fact. Every return is progress. Every minute of listening is a channel cleared. You will not be graded. You will be fed. Now let me answer the question that is forming. What if nothing happens? What if there is no sign? What if it stays blank? Good. Blank is good, provided it is listening blankness and not sulking blankness. If you are sincerely sitting without outline and without argument, you are making the place for God. The contact does not always register in the first tries. It may register later in the middle of another activity, as a spontaneous gladness, as an ease where there was strain. The word utters when the human readiness and the grace coincide. Your part is to be present, to listen, to not try to be God. Not by might nor by power, but by my Spirit, saith the Lord. Do not try to breathe for God. Sit and breathe the breath that comes. Some of you will say, but can I not ask for what I need? You may state your human need in one sentence before the declaration, just as you would tell a doctor why you came into the office. Father, this appears as pain, or this appears as lack, or this appears as fear. Then leave it, be done. Any further talking to God about it is taking the case back after you have given it. Your Father knoweth what things ye have need of, before ye ask him. Asking is not information. Asking here as we use it is consent. Consent to the presence to be itself as your consciousness, without direction from you. You are not telling infinite intelligence how to conduct itself. That is why results appear, because you have stopped standing in the way with your outline and you have let the law be law. You may find it useful, especially in the beginning, to use a single sentence to begin the listening. After your declaration, simply say within, "Speak, Lord, thy servant heareth," and then stop speaking, or "Here am I," or "Be still and know that I am God." Use it once, not as a charm, but as a door. Then go through the door and sit. If you find yourself thinking the sentence over and over like a wheel, you have turned the door into a room. Gently drop it. Rest again in silence. Silence is not emptiness, it is receptivity. It is the womb of the word. Do not confine this to emergencies. Practice it in the little places so that when the larger waves come, you are not learning to swim in a storm. Before you start your day, 1 minute, 1¼ listen. Before you answer the sharp letter, 1 minute, listen. In the car while the light is red, 10 seconds, listen. Waiting for the elevator in the grocery line, before you enter the difficult conversation, listen. Not as a superstition, but as your mode of living from center to circumference. Then, when the call in the night comes, you will not panic. You will do what you have been doing. You will declare truth once. You will sit. You will feel the release. Or you will sit again. And demonstration will follow realization as surely as the shadow follows the body. Let me leave you with the heart of it pressed in. Prayer does not move God. Prayer removes the veil the mind has woven so that God, already present, may be realized. Prayer does not apply a power to a problem. Prayer dissolves the belief that there is a problem power. Your declaration puts your feet on holy ground. Your silence lets the bush burn. When the word utters, by God, not by you, the earth melts. Then do not be surprised if the report changes, the body eases, the supply appears, the fear evaporates, the relation softens. Do not be surprised and do not boast. You did not make anything happen. You consented. You cooperated with a law. That is all, and that is enough. So tonight, when you are alone, do not talk about this. Do it. One sentence naming the appearance, if you must. A clean declaration of truth. God alone is power. I can of mine own self do nothing. The Father within me doeth the works. Then be still. 1 minute, 1¼ 1½. If the old thoughts come back, go back yourself. Back to the beginning and sit again. You will not have to do this many times before you begin to recognize the gentle seal upon it, the breath, the warmth, the assurance. All is well. God is on the field. And when you hear that, rise, live your day. The law will see to the rest. Now let us bring this out of theory and into your kitchen, your office, your hospital room, your commute. We are not going to debate this. We are going to test it. For a week, 7 days, you will suspend your arguments and you will cooperate with law. That is our classroom contract. If in 7 days you do not see the proportion at work, between realized stillness and outward harmony, then lay it down and forget you ever heard of it. But if you will do exactly as given, you will not be the same person in the 8th day. Choose one recurring fear, one chronic irritation, one sand grain in your shoe that has been there week after week, month after month, perhaps a pain that startles you, a financial dread that returns at the end of every month, a person whose name tightens your chest, a habit that seems to own your hands, a loneliness that darkens the afternoon. Do not choose your entire life. Choose one pattern, put it on the altar. We are not trying to get a show to impress anybody. We are testing a law. This is a laboratory, not a circus. Your test conditions are these. When the symptom, lack, or conflict presents itself, and it will, you will notice the first impulse. Watch it honestly. The impulse to run to the shelf of remedies. The impulse to research for 2 hours. The impulse to phone 3 friends and rehearse the grievance. The impulse to fight back. To justify yourself. To make a plan in fear. Notice that impulse, then stop. Stop right there. Withdraw consent. Take no thought. Close the mental store. Turn within. Make your simple declaration once. God alone is power. I can of mine own self do nothing. The Father within me doeth the works. The kingdom of God is within me, and then be still. 1 minute, 1 1/4, 1 1/2. Listen, not for words necessarily, for that release, that quiet, that soft assurance. If it comes even as the faintest easing, rise and go on. If it does not, or if the mind rushes back to the case, do not call yourself a failure. Begin again. Stop, declare, listen, 1 minute. This is your entire assignment, and you will keep it for 7 days. You may have to go through this cycle 3 times in 1 hour. That is not repetition, that is faithfulness. Each time you are refusing to argue with a condition and consenting to presence. Each time you are affirming the mathematical law, that demonstration can be no greater than your realized stillness, and you are increasing that stillness by practice. I am going to ask you to measure, but not as the world measures. Do not make a scoreboard of instant miracles. Do not set up a stopwatch over God. Your measures are these. Is your fear decreasing? Are you returning to peace faster today than yesterday? Does the old compulsion to panic loosen its grip sooner? Are you more able to stop the rehearsing mind and be still? Do you feel the assurance more frequently and more naturally? Do small harmonizations appear in the field around you? An email that eases attention, a payment that arrives without your prodding, a word that softens a difficult person, a bodily calm that comes where once there was tightening. These are not prizes, these are shadows of realization, evidences that the inner law is operating as outer form without your human outlining. Keep a little record if you like, a line or 2 each day. Stopped twice today, fear dropped in 1 minute. Felt the warmth once. No change in paper, but peace held. You are not keeping a diary for me. You are learning to recognize the proportion. Stillness deepens. Demonstrations, even in small ways, increase mathematically. Beware here of the cleverest trap, to seek demonstration as personal power. The moment you do, you are back in 2 powers, trying to build a tower with your own might. You are trying to use God. You will lose your peace, and you will set up a fight. Lay that down. Demonstration is not the goal. Realization is the goal. Demonstration is the fruit. Seek ye first the kingdom, the realized presence, and all these things, in their right order, shall be added, not by might, nor by power, but by my Spirit. The person who sets out to prove himself by getting things to happen is a sorcerer in his heart. The one who sets out to be still and know God is a son in his Father's house, and the house takes care of itself. Some of you will say, but if the outward does not change? I say to you, if the inward changes, the outward cannot remain the same. It may not bend to your calendar. It may not use the door you have named. But when the realized presence is the climate, the crops match the climate. You have noticed how certain plants cannot live in a high altitude. Discords are like that. They are altitude sick in realized presence. They cannot breathe there. Give it 7 honest days of altitude. You will see what cannot live. Through the week, continue your little morning minute. Before the day begins, before the newspapers and the screens pour in the world belief, take your stand for a minute, 1 1/4. Declare simply, listen simply, then move into your day. And every time the chosen fear or irritation presents itself, treat it the same way, not because it is important and needs many treatments, but because you are training the mind out of its first impulse to argue and into its new habit of consenting. This is spiritual muscle built by repetition. Hammering, 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 not the problem, hammering the premise. God alone is power. All power is invisible. The kingdom of God is within me. I can of mine own self do nothing. The Father within me doeth the works. Then silence, then assurance, then life. At the end of each day, before you sleep, review for 1 minute only. Do not criticize yourself. Do not congratulate yourself. Note where you paused and listened. Note where you rushed and argued. Make a quiet intention for the morning to catch one of those places sooner. That is all. Into your sleep take a single whisper. Speak, Lord, thy servant heareth, and then go to bed. Grace works while you sleep. You do not have to hold the moon in the sky by thinking about it. Your consent given in the day is seed. The night is the soil. By the 4th or 5th day, you will likely notice an interior economy. You are spending less life on fear and more life on being. By the 7th, you should be able to say truthfully, I can stop and become still faster than I could a week ago. That alone is a major demonstration, because that ability will go with you into larger waves. And often, yes, there will be outward harmonizations. The bill paid, the appointment changed, the pain easing, the conversation that once flamed now quietly resolved. Not because you forced them, but because you stopped feeding a second power. Your realized stillness set the altitude, and appearances adjusted as shadows do. Remember all week, we are not debating, we are testing. The law is exact. Your demonstration can be no greater than your realized state of stillness consciousness. Therefore, you will stop arguing with conditions, and you will practice stillness that receives and reveals the one power. As that stillness becomes more natural, as it ceases to be an emergency room and becomes your way of breathing, you will find that demonstration is no longer an event. It is a climate. Quietness and confidence become your strength, and the week you have given to this will be the beginning of a life governed by law instead of by appearances. Give it 7 days. Give it your consent. The law will keep its side of the contract. Let us be very plain here, because this is not ornament. This is protection. Each day, as sure as the clock turns night into morning, the world presents its mesmerism. Headlines of contagion and charts of fear. Markets trembling and experts forecasting scarcity. Neighborhood quarrels, office deadlines, bills, horns, traffic. The endless parade of what if and watch out. It is two-power propaganda in 20 voices, hammering, hammering, hammering the suggestion that there are forces out there, good and evil, and that you must fight one with the other or be swallowed. If you meet that unprepared, you are a leaf in their wind. If you meet it established, it is only wind, and you are a tree with roots. Therefore, now hear this. Daily stillness is not a luxury. It is your insurance policy against the world's two-power mesmerism, preferably early, before a newspaper, before a screen, before even the family begins their asking. You take your stand. You do not ask the day what it will bring to you. You announce to the day what governs you. This is God's day, not a human day, not a luck day, God's day. This is the day which the Lord hath made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. And rejoicing here is not an emotion. It is a recognition of government. You are establishing inner government before the world makes its claims. How? The same method as always, because there is only one treatment. You sit 1 minute, 1 1/4, 1 1/2. You declare once cleanly, God alone is power. All power is invisible. Nothing seen, heard, tasted, touched, or smelled has any power to govern or control life. I can of mine own self do nothing. The Father within me, he doeth the works. The kingdom of God is within me. Where I am, God is. If you like, add the remembrance. There are not two powers. Then you are silent. Be still. Listen. Speak, Lord, thy servant heareth. You are not outlining your day. You are not telling God who should call and who should not. You are not placing an order from a cosmic catalog. You are consenting to be governed from within. You are receiving the atmosphere of grace in which your day will unfold. Bring this to your conscious remembrance every morning. There are not two powers. The headlines, the graphs, the urgent calls, and the whispered fears all insist on two. This can harm, that can help. Take this or else. Avoid that or else. To what do you give power? In that first minute you withdraw the gift. You refuse to consent to collective fear as law. You are not bravely defying it with a sword. You are simply not acknowledging it as cause. Cause is invisible. Cause is spirit. Cause is one. Be still and know that I am God. That is the protection, not thinking hard, not arming yourself with positive slogans, but knowing by realization, and realization comes only to stillness. Now, I want you to practice concept substitution in the very terms of your day. Give up the idea of power and substitute the word grace. In other words, where you are tempted to say, I will handle this, say instead, I will rest in grace. Where the old voice says, I must fight this, you answer, not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. Where habit rushes to strategize, you lay it down. Your grace is sufficient. This is not passivity. This is a higher action. You are changing the fuel that runs your day from human effort to divine sufficiency. Substitution is not wordplay. It is stepping out of the belief in two powers and standing in one. Some will say, but I have a very demanding day. Good. Then you have a very demanding need to be protected from the world belief in two powers. You do not need more time. You need that minute 1 1/4 at the beginning to set your compass. You can always find that minute if you have learned its value. If you omit it, you walk into the street undressed and then complain of the weather. If you take it, you may walk through rain or shine and you are not wet in your soul. As you move into the hours, the world will try to collect its premium from you in fear. A news alert flashes, new variant, new war, new shortage. Stop, one breath, do not pay. There are not two powers. A colleague comes with heat in the voice. Stop within, one sentence. The Father within me doeth the works. Listen 2 beats, answer from quiet or do not answer yet. A bill surprises you. Stop 1 minute if you can. The kingdom of God is within me. Then listen. This is your insurance in action. You are not resisting the appearance. You are withdrawing consent from it as cause. You are refusing to let the universal human mind dictate your day. You are staying with and in the mind that was also in Christ Jesus. You will discover as you keep this morning protection and its little renewals through the day that you are anchored. Things come and things go, appointments, accounts, flavors of weather, moods in other people, and you are not jerked. The panic that used to rise in the chest finds no handle to grab. Why? Because your center is within. You are established in the realized presence, and that presence is self-enforcing law. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Strength is not how loud you can answer or how fast you can run at a problem. Strength is how still you can be under suggestion and how faithfully you can refuse to bow to a second power. Let me say this bluntly for your good. If you will not give the first minute of your day to God, do not be surprised if you spend many minutes paying out to fear. This is a mathematical law. The proportion holds in protection as in demonstration. The more consciously you realize one power in the morning, the more inevitably your day will show forth the fruit of that realization. You are not earning your safety, you are aligning with law. You are not putting a fence around yourself. You are living in a kingdom whose boundaries are not in space but in consciousness. Make the morning simple. Do not complicate it with books and many words if that tempts you into thinking. One clean declaration, 1 minute of listening. If the house is noisy, sit on the edge of the bed. If the mind is noisy, be faithful to your one sentence. Be still and know that I am God. And then stop speaking. If you oversleep, take your minute in the bathroom. God is not offended by the place, only by the divided heart. If you miss it altogether, do not condemn yourself. Do it as soon as you remember, but learn to love that first silence the way a farmer loves the dawn, because his day is decided there. And then move through the hours with that substitution held gently. Grace, not power, spirit, not might. One power, not two. You are not looking for fights to prove yourself. You are not picking up the world on your shoulders. You are consenting to live by a different government. When you forget and begin to argue with a condition, you will feel the old drain. That is your reminder. Stop. Return. 1 minute, 1 and a quarter, and the assurance will come as before. Perhaps only as a soft ease, perhaps as a word, perhaps as the sense all is well. God is on the field. Then carry on. The insurance is current. If you will treat the morning as holy ground and keep your remembrance clear, there are not two powers. Give up the idea of power and substitute grace. You will find that the day cannot bully you. It can knock on your door. It cannot live in your house. It can speak loudly. It cannot command you. Your life begins to be lived from center to circumference, and demonstration ceases to be a scramble for objects and becomes the quiet order of a governed life. Daily stillness, early and honest, is your protection from the world's hypnotism. Pay that small premium of silence, and you will collect peace all day. Be still. No. Then walk. Now let us gather the whole of it into one living sentence, and then let that sentence govern your living. One power, realized as consciousness, entered by stillness. In that realized presence, error belief dissolves of its own nothingness, and demonstration follows as shadow follows substance. That is the chain. That is the mathematical law. You cannot get away from it, and this is your comfort. You do not need to. It will not favor me over you, nor yesterday over today. It will answer only to realization, and realization comes only in quiet. We are not adding ornaments to this, we are stating principle. God alone is power. There are not two powers, good and evil wrestling out there in things. All power is invisible. Therefore, demonstration is not the result of wrestling with appearances. Demonstration is the inevitable proportion of your realized state of stillness consciousness. In the measure that you enter stillness and know, not think that I am God, in that measure the belief that gave seeming force to the condition loses its claimant, loses its breath, and it cannot stand. Then works appear, physical, mental, moral, financial, relational. It makes no difference of category because the law is one and the treatment is one. I can of mine own self do nothing. The Father within me, he doeth the works. When the within is realized, the works without are the Father's works, not yours, and so they come unlabored. Now, someone is holding back this last inch and saying, yes, but my situation, mine, is exceptional. No, no, it is not. And I say that not to harden you, but to free you. If your case were exceptional, it would require a special key, a private favor, a capricious God. That would be hopeless. But law is impersonal, and that is your hope. 2 and 2 are 4 in Paris, 4 in prison, 4 in a hospital ward, 4 in your kitchen. Whether you whisper the sum or shout it across an ocean, it does not change. So with this, the degree of works is directly proportionate to realized consciousness. The gateway to realization is stillness. In realized presence, error belief dissolves. If there could be an exception, the universe would not be God-governed. It would be a lottery. You are not living by a lottery. You are living under grace, and grace is the lawfulness of God's own nature expressed. You will tell me the names of your giants, diagnosis, history, habit, scarcity, estrangement, and I will ask only one question. To what are you giving power? If you grant power to the name, you will experience 2 powers and you will have to fight. If you withdraw your consent and retire into stillness, 1 minute, 1 1/4, 1 1/2, and let the word utter itself within you, the giant reduces to a belief, and belief does not stand in the presence of realized truth. Ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Stop trying to make it free by force. Know, and it will make you free by law. So hear now the closing rhythm that you will carry as breath. Be still, be still, be still, not as a charm but as a door. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and listen. Speak, Lord, thy servant heareth. Be still and let the word be God's, not yours. 1 minute, 1 1/4, 1 1/2. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength, not by might, not by intellectual wrestling, not by elaborate phrasing. By my Spirit, saith the Lord. If in that stillness you receive only a sigh, accept it. If a sentence, accept it. If only a warmth, accept it. This is presence testifying to itself, and presence is the only healer, the only harmonizer, the only provider, the only protector. Over time, this is the promise and the simplicity. The mind that was in Christ Jesus becomes natural to you, not because you strained, because you surrendered to it often. You will find that taking no thought becomes more frequent than taking thought, that releasing becomes more frequent than grasping, that grace becomes more frequent than power. Then the works, the harmonies, are not events you must chase. They are the normal fruit on a healthy tree. The Father within me, he doeth the works, becomes not a quotation but your day's plain speech. Things can come and things can go, and you are not shaken. Why? Because the source is within you, and you have learned the way to it. Be still. You will discover this beautiful economy. You spend less life arguing with shadows and more life abiding in light, and the shadows arrange themselves. Let us nail this down so you cannot lose it in a hallway of words. One power, realized as consciousness, entered by stillness. In realized presence, error belief dissolves. Demonstration follows by law. This is not personal achievement. It is spiritual inevitability. You are not asked to be clever. You are asked to cooperate. Stop contending with appearances. Stop debating with law. Cooperate with law. Today, now. Give it the minute that proves the principle. Do not wait for a perfect chair or a silent house. Sit on the edge of the bed, in the car, before you turn the key. In the bathroom with the water running, if you must. 1 minute. Declare once cleanly, God alone is power. I can of mine own self do nothing. The Father within me doeth the works. The kingdom of God is within me. Then silence, then listening, then rise, and let the day discover you governed. If you will do this, not once as an experiment only, but as your way, you will outgrow crisis living and enter governed living. Quietness and confidence will no longer be something you occasionally visit. They will be your strength, your climate. And yes, the outer patterns will reflect it as inevitably as a calm sky reflects in still water. But even before they do, you will know the great miracle. You are not living in two powers. You are not at war with the world. You are at rest in God. And because you are, the word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God finds entrance and utters itself where you are. So this is my final word to you in this class. Do not argue with law. Cooperate with it, not tomorrow. Now, 1 minute of stillness, 1 minute of grace instead of power. Let the word speak itself within you, and then walk. The law will keep itself, and you will find yourself kept in peace, kept in order, kept in a life where demonstration is not something you perform, but something that appears as naturally as dawn follows night. Be still, know, walk,